we do have to talk about MJF and Hangman Adam Page, because for weeks, MJF has wanted to get a championship opportunity. But every time Hangman says, if you want one, you have that briefcase, you have that contract, cash it in. And he says, no, I'm going to get one anyway and still have the contract. Little bit of a weird one, but guess what? Adam Page managed to get into the head of MJF, and MJF, in a fury during one of his rants, said that he would cash it in at Forbidden Door and was immediately fuming at himself. But it is now official, Clark. What are your thoughts?
I absolutely adored this exchange. I was a little frustrated by the way that the Hurt Syndicate, I apologize, stuff went down, the way it ended so quickly, because I actually did enjoy that story, the way it was told. This was awesome, though. For this, I'll take it. Fair trade in my book, because it was perfect MJF character work. And you forget how good he is at that. He's good at just being really mean. He's also really good at being a character. And this was perfect. Hangman sort of with the gotcha moment. Oh, you won't do it. You won't do it. He played the reverse Uno card in this spot. And then suddenly MJF shows his hand on accident and he's beating himself up. I really like it. I thought it was really well done. And these two have awesome chemistry on the mic opposite each other. I think we need more of it. I can't wait for the match. And I don't know if we don't have 2 matches between Hangman and MJF by the time we're done with this, because I really, really, really think they work well together. And if the in-ring chemistry is anything like what I expect it to be, this could be a multi-match rivalry.
I hope and think that you are right, Clark. And you mentioned the Hurt Syndicate there. I'm going to be honest. I don't think that's done, because if that is done, it is, to your point, absolutely horrific storytelling. But I don't think it is. I think this is all a ruse, and something is going to happen with the Hurt Syndicate at Forbidden Door, where maybe they help MJF or something like that. But I think Maxwell has something up his sleeve, and so does MVP as well. But Archie, I want to get your thoughts on this segment.
I've probably got the most opposite view to Clark on this segment, because for one, I think the story's a bit goofy. I don't really understand why MJF is trying to get a title match without cashing in his contract. Like, he's got a contract for a reason. He doesn't need to kind of go the extra length to try and win the title without like, he's trying to go the hard way to win the title without the contract, which is not what a heel does. And this segment specifically just made Max look like a bit of a moron, I think, because, well, his character anyway, because he tried to, his whole plan was to try and anger Hangman with the, you know, you're a hero, but you've got your flaws. Well, that was literally the story that they've just been telling, Max. Like, have you not been paying attention to AEW TV? That's literally the character development that Hangman's been going on for like the past couple of months. So we've been through that, and I'm happy Hangman brought that up and said, like, yeah, I've got my flaws. I've already been through that stage where I've realized I've got my flaws and come over them. And then the fact that MJF, the thing that ticks MJF off and makes him cash in his contract and abandon this whole elaborate plan he's got, is Hangman calling him a coward. Like, MJF's supposed to be this conniving, smart heel, and he had this whole plan worked out. This isn't someone that's supposed to get annoyed and just throw all that out the window because of being called a coward. Like, that's not his character. He's not got a short temper like that.
I will say this, though, Archie, to combat your point for a second. I think that is the story they are telling. They are telling that MJF, despite the fact he has this contract, he has become overconfident. He became overconfident and lost the Hurt Syndicate. Everything is going wrong for him. And now, bang, it has also gone wrong with Hangman Adam Page. He has fallen for his tricks. He is not the same mental Max which he used to be. But that is the trap, and I think you've fallen in it,
Archie,
and I think so has Hangman Page.
Have you had your temperature taken this morning, Archie? Do you have a fever? You're delusional. This is ridiculous. You must be kidding me.
I'm not delusional.
Archie, there's nothing more heelish than trying to get the title match without having to use the contract so that he can keep
What are you
it to himself.
talking about?
just
This is
in
like-
case.
He's right. I
This is-
agree.
There's also nothing more cowardice than that. All the points you presented connect the dots in a kindergarten class.
Let me tell you this: if there was somebody that was the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, and they said, you know what, I'm going to try and get a title match with you
And
without
hang on
the
to it, win all the
briefcase.
tires. There's nothing more heelish in the world.
Actually,
But
they
yeah,
do that almost every
Yeah,
year.
but that's
It's not what a
What do you mean
babyface would
win
do.
all
A
the titles?
babyface would
And one
cash it in
there's-
fairly.
Well, they try to. They never
And
do.
that's
but they
why
always say,
MJF
"Oh, I'm
was
gonna
mad
go
at
into
himself
this," and
himself
he
because
He's
he
cashes
cashed
did
it
in.
in
what-
fairly. He's cashed it in fairly. He's given Hangman plenty
And
of
that's
of
why he was
preparation for that match.
frustrated with himself. That's the story they told. You're proving my
Because he got
point.
called a coward. Because he got called a
Yes,
coward.
because he is a cowardly heel.
That's like Cena getting annoyed because he's got called the Yankees instead of getting annoyed because Punk insulted his dad or something. Out of all things, he gets annoyed at being called a coward. Are we being serious here? This
Yes,
is a heel.
because he
not
doesn't
really
believe he is a
annoyed.
coward, but he is.
He relishes in being a heel. He relishes in being a coward. That's his
But
whole
he's not a
character.
sedictive heel. He's a cowardly heel.
He's a sedictive heel. He tried to catch
He's
Hangman on
cowardly.
fire. He's
He
a
doesn't-
sedictive heel.
He-
He's one of the most sedictive heels in AEW.
In some
he's
ways, but he's also
conniving.
he's not out there being a tough guy heel. He's out there
No, obviously
sliming
not.
his way into opportunities all the time, cheating to win all the time,
Yes,
one step ahead of everybody else. He's a coward.
which
Like,
he relishes
Hangman
in.
was correct.
Yeah, exactly. But MJF relishes in being
No,
a
he
coward.
does not. He's not
Yes, he
proud of being a
does.
coward. He doesn't
Yes, he
believe
does.
he's a coward.
He literally called himself the villain of AEW. He
Yes,
literally
but
called
that
himself the
doesn't
villain of
mean he
AEW
believes
in
that he's a
segment.
coward.
Why is he calling himself that?
I'm going to explain this to you both really quickly, really simply, right? You're both right. Because, Archie, you are right. MJF would not get offended by being called a coward. But it is all part of the plan. Because I agree, if the Hurt Syndicate thing has been randomly abandoned and left to one
Right,
side,
yeah.
and suddenly MJF's an idiot, yeah, it's awful. But let's not ignore the fact that AEW, especially in the main event, have had long-term plans over the last 2 years. They really, really have. So I think this is all a work, and what's going to happen is Hangman thinks he's the one who's got the advantage. Bang, the Hurt Syndicate are back. Bang, new champion at Forbidden Door.
Or what about the War
Like,
Dog?
see, if that happened, then this whole segment would make sense. But right now, I'm just saying it didn't make sense, and it made MJF look a bit moronic. And if you're right with the Hurt Syndicate stuff, then fair play. I've got an egg on my face, and I'll then look a bit moronic. Okay, but right now it just looks so weird.
No.
We've got a few comments. Judge in the comments, shout out to you, but he's saying Archie's too dumb to understand.
Oh, that's mean.
I'm
Archie's not dumb. Now I'll
I'm
stick up for Archie.
I know
Archie's smart.
because he's wearing the
I'm-
Chelsea shirt.
I'm
but he's
too-
not
Archie's
dumb.
wrong, but he's smart.
I'm too dumb to understand that equation in his profile picture. Who uses a profile picture and that is an equation as your profile picture? That's what I'm looking to
He's
understand.
mathematics.
What is that? What is
Archie's
that?
No.
Archie's wrong this
Hey,
time, but he's
hey,
smart.
A equals. Let's just move on. I failed
I
math.
don't know.
Maths.
I stopped liking math as soon as they introduced letters.
I sucked at algebra.
Sean,
I was good at
ironically,
the
good
rest
at
of
writing.
it. Yeah, that is surprising, actually.
I'm
That
too dumb
is a
to
bit
understand that
backwards.
equation, though. You're right, but I'm not. If I maybe am too dumb to understand this because I do not understand it. Somebody that's
I
a coward
don't.
and is happy to be a coward, gets called a coward. It's weird.
I don't think he's happy to be one. He was upset about it. doesn't
T6
believe
Warlord
he's a
says,
coward.
The
he just
devil.
is
He
one.
calls himself the devil.
Who's a
weekly.
coward?
Yes,
I'm not
and
wrong.
the devil relishes
Is
being
a
a
coward.
coward.
No, he
will
doesn't relish in it. The devil doesn't believe he is a coward, but he is.
T6 Warlord says MJF never got his contractual rematch. That is the whole issue. I thought they don't have rematches in AEW. I can't.
No, I didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
I can't keep track, to be honest, DCX, of all this. In both companies, they both say they don't do rematch clauses, and then I think they both do rematch clauses when they fancy it. So they're both just big hypocrites at times. Fernando says, great reverse psychology by Page, and Podcast Grifter says it will be a disservice to Hangman if they take the title from him this early. I do agree with that, to be honest with you, but I think that's what they're doing. That's a great
comparison, because that's like Cody losing the titles at AJ at Backlash right after it. Like, if that hurts Syndicate stuff did happen, yes, it makes this segment make sense, but in the long run, it just shows us that AEW put the title on Hangman because they pivoted because the fans were getting annoyed at waiting for Darby Allin. In my opinion, I think it does,
maybe
because then it shows that they didn't really have a plan after his title run. That's how I
clearly there is a plan, because they have been, they were
but
foreshadowing this story 4 months ago.
Not a well thought out one.
I don't know, mind. 4 months is like a decent
I think Hangman was the original winner, but I'm just saying that if he loses straight away to MJF, it shows that he wasn't the original pick to beat Moxley.
Remember in New Japan, I mean, it's a very, very different story, but Kazuchika Okada, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Tanahashi. It was either Tanahashi or maybe Naito. Won the Wrestle Kingdom main event. Their first title defense, they went against Okada, who was just back from excursion. He was brand new, really. Everybody thought it was a bit of a filler match. Bang, Okada wins the world title. Hang on a second, what's going on here? They described it as the Rainmaker shock. Nobody saw it coming, and therefore it made all of the events, you can't miss anything because it's a complete shock. Same with Jinder Mahal at Backlash in 2017 as well. So it is different with MJF, right? It is.
Yeah. But when you label it like that, it does make it sound a bit better. But I mean, it's how Melissa. It's how they would
shout out Melissa. Sorry, Melissa. Calm
Monster
down.
Shout out Melissa.
But Archie will never understand, Judge says. So he's moving us on to another topic. Well, I'm not listening.
I'm sorry, Judge. I'm sorry, Judge.
Myself on to the next topic.